Okay, everyone, we're going to make a start. So thanks for joining us. This is the Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013 webinar. My name is Rocco Kutri. I'm a product technology specialist here at Hands-on Systems, and we specialise in this product. So we're going to get underway. Our agenda for today, we're going to touch on what is Dynamics NAV. We're going to look at the roadmap that Microsoft provides for Dynamics NAV. We're going to do a live demonstration to give you an idea of, how the application looks and feels and how it can help address some of your requirements. We'll give you a contact details at the end of the webinar, and if you've got any questions, then I'll give you some email addresses or some phone numbers where you can contact us to ask us more questions. And we'd love to hear from you about your individual requirements. We won't be going into a great deal of depth on any particular business functionality today, but we'd love to hear from you and how we believe that this application can help in your business. So let's start with
is now joining.
Let's start with Dynamics NAV. Just had someone else join. Let's start with Dynamics NAV. So this application today has more than 80,000 customers worldwide. Okay, so that's a lot of different individual customer sites around the world, and approximately 1.35 users who log on to that every day. So it's widely used, and there's a large user base.
Is now joining.
And there is also obviously a large community around the world and in Australia, for that matter, of people using this particular application. So Microsoft purchased this application about 10 years ago, and they've been investing in it since then. So it already had an established user base, and it continues to grow. I guess around one of the great things about Microsoft, investing in technology is they do have a lot of money. They spend around $8 billion per annum, US dollars per annum, on research and development, and around $1 billion goes into the Microsoft Dynamics suite of products. So that's not just Dynamics NAV, but there's a few other products in there, as like CRM products and standalone CRM products and so forth. But there's still a substantial amount of money, over $1 billion every year, going into this suite of products. And I guess that what that tells you is around how stable they are, how much investment they have going forward, and Microsoft is really committed to them. One of the great things about Microsoft, I guess, investing in them as well, is that there is a familiar look and feel and a familiar usage throughout all the applications that Microsoft brings. And I guess this is also around, even though they only spend over $1 billion on Microsoft Dynamics, they spend lots of other investments in Microsoft Office and things like this that allow you to have a familiar look and feel and to be able to use all the applications together, to integrate them all together. So we'll show you that as we go along, and we'll show you how familiar Microsoft Dynamics NAV is, and how your staff will be able to pick it up immediately almost. So our themes for today, we're going to be talking about gaining greater control. We're going to be talking about increasing margins, and we're going to be talking about driving growth. And we want to relate that into how Microsoft Dynamics NAV can help you do that. So let's start out with gaining greater control. One of the key things here that we believe that Microsoft Dynamics NAV is great for is giving you information that you can access immediately as soon as you log into the system. So each individual user has what's called a role center, and that's their personalized view of the business application. So as an example, someone who's a CFO or a financial person has a role center that's focused on cash and accounts payable and accounts receivable, whereas a person who's a manufacturing person in your business will get information around bill of materials and how many jobs are outstanding and what's in the bottleneck in your production runs and so forth. But in each situation, that person is given KPIs, key performance indicators or key information or key reports, very visual about how about their business function. Okay, and we'll show you that as we go on. The other thing that we want to give you an idea about is business rules and workflow. So throughout Dynamics NAV, there's a lot of opportunities for you to predefine your own business rules and workflows using templates. And these things are around, as an example, we've mentioned here, purchasing limits. So being able to set up your staff to have, a purchase limit for when they're making a purchase order, and then that needs to be approved by, someone higher than them, and then a chain can be built specifically within this application. And Dynamics NAV will respect all those rules within your business. Similarly, a lot of businesses require workflow around credit notes and approving them and how they get approved by the levels of management within the system. So this is what we talk about in gaining greater control, giving you the information and then actually respecting your business rules and workflow. Our next screenshot here is just a quick example of some of the key performance indicators that we will present to the CFO, and this is a cash flow forecast. So going forward, predicting our cash. We'll actually see this live in a few minutes in the demonstration piece. So we'll keep going. Our second theme is around increasing margins, and we believe Dynamics NAV is key here in increasing the margins around your business by giving you the opportunity to do things such as analysing exceptions, so we can deliver exception reporting to you, again, directly as you open the application. Analyse the exceptions around discounts, around stock that's expired, all sorts of exception reporting, so that you can monitor these exceptions. And what that allows you to do is, if there are these exceptions, then you can focus on how that is occurring, how you can get rid of them in the future, or minimise the exceptions in the future, and therefore to focus more on increasing the margin within your business. The other thing that we always provide is lots of reporting around profitable customers. If you need to increase the margin in your business, one of the obvious simple ways is to sell more to the profitable customers, to target those customers that you are making money out of, and to increase the volume that you do with them, and hence increase your margin. And another topic that we talk about when we talk about increasing margins is to optimise your stock management. To have the appropriate amount of stock of a best-selling item, and to also minimise excessive stock that you're holding that you can't turn over, that's costing you money, and therefore reducing the ability to make more margin. So that's our second theme, and here's a quick example where we're talking about a report around our key accounts. So this is customer profitability, and again we'll have a look at another example in a few minutes in the demonstration. Our third theme for today is around driving growth, and what do we mean by this? There's a couple of different areas. First and foremost, we want to be able to make the people that you've got within your organisation more efficient and more productive. So that will allow you to, as we said, selling more volume to your current customers. We need to be able to support that, and we need to be able to give the right tools to the people so that they can do more with, your business can do more with the same amount of staff that you have. So making sure that they're efficient and productive is paramount. And what do we mean by that? We mean making sure that they're doing the activities that they need to do in a timely manner, and making sure they're not hunting around for the information to do those activities all the time. So our activities queue is a key area of this, and this is a little area within each person's dashboard, again, when they log in, the first thing they see when they log in, which directs them to the things that they need to do, and we'll see that in a few minutes. The other area we talk about driving growth is flexibility, being able to add or change business processes. So Microsoft Dynamics NAV is modular, so you can add and add extra modules as over time. We like to give examples of, for instance, if you don't have an e-commerce channel but you want to in the future, you can snap that on easily. If you want to extend this application to a mobile workforce, you can with an internet browser type application. There's lots of these type of examples where we can enable more people within your workforce, or we can enable different channels quite quickly and quite easily because we can build upon what's over there. So you'll have opportunities for growing your business and opportunities to expand your volumes and your margins. So those are our three topics for today, our three themes: gaining greater control, increasing margins, and driving growth. And there's a quick example here of what we call activities. So this is for a customer sales rep or customer service rep. And I'll actually talk through this in a live environment in a few minutes. We're just going to touch quickly on the Microsoft Dynamics NAV roadmap. And as I said before, Microsoft's spending around $8 billion US on research and development, and over $1 billion of that goes into the Dynamics family. And why is this important? The numbers are not there to impress that they're a large number, but just to say that they are committed. And I guess the key area that we can prove that Microsoft is committed is that they have been going at this for more than 10 years, and they have delivered roadmaps and they have executed on those roadmaps. So if you're looking at this slide today, we're halfway between these stacks. We've seen Microsoft release NAV 2009 R2. We've seen Microsoft release NAV 7, which is also NAV 7 was a working title. The full release is called NAV 2013, which is what we're going to see today. And they're already working on what they're calling NAV 8, and they're already working on the roadmaps and the greater detail for NAV 9. But the key message here is that we're looking out to 2017. Microsoft has plans, and they have a strong roadmap for delivering this product into the future, and they will continue to do that. They have a history of executing against the roadmaps that they've been putting out. So we think that's a really key message for anyone who's looking at where it's going in the future, but also how committed Microsoft is to this, and how long will the application be around in the marketplace. Okay, so we're going to go now into the demonstration, and I'll just switch out of the PowerPoint, and we're going to go in here onto my desktop. All right, so the first thing I'm going to explain to you is the concept of the role centers. And I've talked about it a few different times, but suffice to say that for any type of person in your organization, there is a dashboard or a front screen, or it's called in this technical way, a role center for them. So you can see this list here. You can see from the top of the screen, you've got things like accounting managers and accounts payable coordinators and accounts receivable coordinators and so forth. And then all the way down the bottom of the screen, you've got people like shipping and receiving and warehouse workers. So all your staff get assigned to one of these roles, and when they open up their actual screen during the day, they get presented with the information that's relevant to them. So we've got a couple of examples that we're going to use today. We're going to look at a customer service rep. That's our first example. And then we're going to look at a CFO, CEO type of role, which in American speak is called a president. So we're going to start with the role center of the sales order rep. So here we are. We've opened it up. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of an orientation around how the application looks and feels. And then we'll delve into the data, I guess, that's there. So the first thing is that within this application, we have a familiar look and feel of Internet Explorer. So there's a forward and a backwards button for navigating around between the screens. So it's like Internet Explorer. It's forwards, backwards, and a history bar that we can use to access the history that we've gone through. There's also a breadcrumb trail that shows us where we've navigated. so we can easily see that as well. There's a refresh button, so refresh our screen, exactly like Internet Explorer, and there's a search, so that if we're looking for any particular part of the application that we don't already have on our menu, then we can quickly search for it, and it works, the same way as a Bing type search or a Google type search. Okay, so the next thing that you'll see is the ribbon, and the ribbon allows you to do quick actions around your activities or what your role is. Now, the ribbon is a common element across all the Microsoft products. So if you're using any of the later versions of, say, Microsoft Office or Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint or anything, you'll know the ribbon and you'll probably know how the ribbon works. When you click on a particular area in the application, such as, say, items, you get presented with a ribbon that has all the information around items, item journals and item reports and so forth. When you click on the area of the application for customers, you get presented with in the ribbon, you get presented with all the information around customers, so maybe creating a sales order, a quote, and so on and so forth. So the ribbon is what we call contextual. It changes depending on the area of the application. And then, of course, there's always an area here where we have all our favourite reports. So I had to click of a button. Okay. So moving down the left here is a menu, and the menu looks very similar to Microsoft Outlook, and deliberately so. It's meant to give that same common user feeling. So all of a sudden you start seeing that people who are used to using Office, Excel, Outlook, Word, etc., they're presented with a very familiar look and feel. The other thing is that all the keyboard shortcuts that people may have learnt, like copy paste and all those type of things, Control X and Control V and all those type of keyboard commands, they're replicated directly within this system. So people who've already spent time training or learning these other applications automatically have a head start here within Dynamics NAV. Okay, so let's talk about now the data of this particular person. So we're looking at a customer service rep, or an order processor, a sales order processor. You might call them a number of different things, but they're a person who's dealing with customers and dealing with sales orders and quotes and things like that. Now here's their activities bar. Now this is where we're talking about you're driving growth for your staff. This is allowing your staff to be efficient and productive. And the reason is because as soon as they log in, they're given a real-time access into what's going on and what activities they need to do. So this activities bar will look very different for, say, someone in the purchasing area. It'll all be around purchase orders, or maybe someone in a warehouse. It'll all be around picks and putaways and shipments and things like that. But for us, as a customer service rep, it's all around what we need to do for sales. So we can see very quickly and very visually, we've got 3 sales orders open, and we're given that in terms of a small pile, but also a number. And we can see that there's 24 open sales orders that we haven't converted or haven't got commitments for from customers. Now, any one of these piles of work, we can click on and drill into to get to that information, right? And then we can start going through and getting more information and working with it. So, for instance, we might release it, and then it would become confirmed. So we do a one-click drill down directly into the information that comprises it. But what's more powerful, I guess, is that as we work on that 24 and we release it, it becomes 23, and we can keep working on it and reduce our numbers. You can also see here that we've given lots of great information around. I've got sales orders that are released, but they're not shipped, and you can, immediately see maybe your KPI is to make sure that you have 0 sales orders that are not delayed. So you can see here we've got 17 delayed sales orders. So it might be an issue of getting onto the warehouse and making sure the stock is there so that can be done. And of course, we got one button click to create new sales orders and create new returns and things like that. Anything that's there for that person to be able to do quickly and easily is there. So the activity queue is paramount, as I say, in increasing staff efficiency and productivity. There's no need to run a report to see how many delayed orders there are. There's no need to hunt around for the information. And I guess, again, to reiterate again, they can click directly on there and start working. Now, as well as that, there's the opportunity to present information to them very visually. These type of graphs here, again, they're drilled down, so I can get to the same information by drilling into the graph. But that's okay. I think getting the idea. The other thing here that is in their role center is that they've got quick link access to their favorite customers and their balances and their phone numbers and things like that. So if they need to see the status of their customers or their items or the suppliers that they're dealing with, they can have them here in their role center. And one of the great things about using a Microsoft application is that you can use things like click to call, and this is using Microsoft's voice over IP system called Microsoft Link. So if you want more information about that, then please let us know. But integrating with the rest of the Microsoft applications, I guess, is obviously going to be a strength for this Microsoft piece. And now, before, when we were talking about our themes for today, we were talking about gaining greater control, and we were talking about the templates that are available for you guys to put in your business rules and workflows. Here's an example of this particular company cannot just create new items without them being authorized. So in this first notification I've got here, it says I need to check the specifications for a particular item before it can be purchased and sold. And then another one here is that this sales order might have been entered by someone and it's come to me for approval because it's outside their authority. So their authority might be around, in a sales environment, it might be around accepting additional credit or something to that effect. So here is where we talk about you being able to gain greater control, and to be able to approve these. You can right click on these and open them directly, so you can go directly to that particular order and work that way. Okay, so that's a little bit there around this particular role center. We're going to switch over into a more finance-orientated role center, and here we are. This is the president, or you might call it a CEO or a CFO type role center, whoever's interested in this information. But when they log in, you'll notice there's no activities, and that's because we're not expecting a CFO or a CEO to actually process sales orders and so forth. But they are going to be looking at the information. And they can very quickly and easily see the different information. This is a revenue chart, tracking revenue month by month, and they can see the trends and the information. And again, this is all drilled down. I won't do that now because we're running short on time, and I'm hoping you're getting the concept rather than the data behind it. But there's a number of sort of charts that you can set up yourself around how to track different information. So here we were just switching from revenue. Now we're looking at expenses, and you can see that these lines are tracking, again, month by month, tracking the historical spend on different categories of expenses. So you can see that this particular expense, computer expenses, has gone up significantly in September. Again, you can drill down and you can look at things like actual to budget. You can say, okay, well, we have a large expense, but it was actually under budget. So we're happy with that. So this information here, again, giving KPIs in the role center greater control for the individual user. We might make this one a little bit smaller just so I can show you the cash flow and make it as large as possible. Here's a cash flow forecast, and we looked at this as a screenshot, but let's have a look at it in the live environment. This is built by looking at all the data in the system, and it looks at the receivables and the due dates of the receivables and the payables that you've got, and the due dates of the payables. It looks at the starting cash position. It also looks at all your sales, confirmed sales orders and confirmed purchase orders, and if you're in a service organisation, it looks at your confirmed service orders or service contracts. And it builds out a cash flow forecast. The great thing about this one is that the step line shows us that we're going up every month, or slowly going up. So we're looking like we've got some cash in the bank, which is great, or in the future. Again, this information, you can drill down on it and you can directly see where your receivables are. Each particular line in here is given its own reference. So you can see, for instance, you're giving away a $12,000 discount on this particular payment, but you might be happy with that to get the money in earlier, and you can force those type of rules. Now let's have a look at this last one down the bottom here, which is the sales performance, and this was around discounts. So we talked around before around analysing exceptions, and analysing exceptions around your who's my profitable customers and where my profitable items are. This is a chart where we're showing you the average discount given in a particular month on a particular item. And you can see here that you can quickly and easily see that there's one standout here, and you can drill into that and start talking to your sales reps and say why are you giving away 17.6% discount on these items, and that's not acceptable. And you can use this to increase your margin by gain that control again over what's going on. Okay, so those were two role centers. We're going to go back to the first one. And we're just going to have a look at an item list. And again, jumping through this quite quickly, but we're talking. Sorry, my email's coming up there. We're talking around a list of items. Now, the list is a common view. So there's a list of customers, a list of items, a list of sales orders, etc. And you'll see the ribbon up the top there, which allows you. Now that I'm working on items, you can see all the information around working with items such as all the item reports and item journals and so forth and so on. But the list, we should say, functions very much like Microsoft Excel. You'll see that there are freeze panes and things like that, like you'd see in Excel, and the columns that you can show and hide exactly like you would in Excel, and again all those shortcuts that are the same. But also what you can do is you can filter and you can find and filter on any of these particular items. So you can create any kind of filter. You might look for any type of attribute, such as anything that has a particular attribute against it, and you can send that out to Excel. And again, this is not rocket science or revolutionary, but what's great about this is that the link there is hard coded, okay, and it allows you to refresh that data. Sorry, I'll just close that. So in your actual Excel browser, you will be given a new tab which says Dynamics NAV, and you're allowed to refresh. So what this allows you to do, without actually needing to go back into the database, is that you can refresh the data instantaneously. So if your costs change, if your prices change, or if you get new items in that group or any of those attributes change, you can refresh that. You can build charts off this information. You can build other reports, and you can share those reports. Okay, so we'll just remove that filter, and we're going to go down a little bit to one particular product that we like, which is the 2000S. And we're just going to talk about, very quickly, because we're at 12:30, we're just going to talk about the ability to carry the right amount of stock. So over here on the right, this system, Dynamics NAV, supports any kind of reordering policy that you want, fixed reordering, lot for lot, those type of policies. And we can specify minimums and maximums and safety stock levels and safety lead times to allow you to do that. On top of that, we can do a lot of these things manually. We can show you a lot of different views where you can see how your stock is going to move by time. So, for instance, we start out with 163 pieces of this stock, and then we can see the sales orders that make that up. Gives you information about how this is working, and you can see that you're going to go negative quite quickly, and you can create orders. You can also do that kind of view by timeline, by I guess in a graphical chart. So here, same thing. We start out with 163 units. The sales orders that we have already committed in our system reduce it. We can automatically create new supplies if we want to, or we can use suggestions that the system recommends based on getting back to those safety stock levels. And we can also move this around and drag this around quite visually, quite graphically to create purchase orders. Okay. So that's a little bit around helping you to monitor and carry the right amount of stock. All right, so we're just going to go back into our presentation here today, And I hope that you saw in that very short presentation, in this PowerPoint presentation, the benefits there around the application being really simple and easy to use. It does have comprehensive business
Kevin
functionality.
Park is now exiting.
Can allow you to have control and visibility of your business.
Kevin Park.
Okay, and you can track performance and profitability. And what this allows you to do, again, back to our themes, gain you greater control, increase your margins, and drive growth. It's simple and easy to use. Your people can use it. They're efficient and productive. You've got comprehensive business functionality to allow you to, increase margin and things like that, and maintain your business rules. And lots of visibility, lots of KPIs, lots of reports that allow you to do that. My last slide, thank you for your time, is to contact us. You can contact us via our website, www.handson.com.au, email sales@handson.com.au, or you can call us on 1300 197 960. And of course, there's a whole raft of social media options if you want to connect with us that way. I do thank you for your time. We'd love to talk to you about your individual requirements. So please contact us and we'll have a chat. Thanks very much.